Good afternoon and welcome to the Assembly Committee on Natural Resources. Will the committee secretary please call the roll?
Assembly members Considine,
President.
DeLong, Gurr, Hanson, Jackson,
Happy to be here. I cares.
Karras, Kasama,
Here.
LaRue Hatch,
Here.
Marzola,
Present.
Watts,
Here.
Chair Anderson.
And I am excited to be here, unlike one member of our committee, it appears. I want to welcome everyone in this meeting, those here in Carson City, as well as anyone joining in Vegas and in Las Vegas or Elko or listening online. We have one presentation and one bill hearing today, but first some housekeeping announcements. Please remember to silence all electronic devices while in the committee room. And just a reminder, committee members will be looking at their laptops to view handouts and other exhibits. Please do not view this as a sign of disrespect. We do expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during the meeting, even if we may not agree with another person's position. If you're presenting or testifying, please make sure to sign at the table by the door and leave a business card with the committee assistant. I am going to make a small little change today. Just a reminder, this group that's here right now does a pretty good job, but there's a few other individuals. You can come in and sign in even an hour beforehand. You don't have to wait till the last minute, which sometimes does happen. Proposed amendments, please make sure to get those to us 24 hours in advance and include the bill number, a statement of intent, and your name and contact information. When testifying in person, please turn on the microphone and clearly state and spell your name. Please also state for the record any organization or agency you are representing. Please turn off the microphone each time you are done speaking, and public comment will take place at the end. Finally, please note that agenda items may be taken in a different order than those listed, and two or more items may be combined for consideration, and an item may be removed from the agenda, or discussion on an item on the agenda may be delayed at any time. We will, however, start today with a presentation. So if we will begin our meeting with a presentation from the Nevada Mining Association, which I believe they actually did sign in a half hour beforehand, so thank you for doing so. Thank you to all of our presenters joining us today, and you may begin when you are ready.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson and committee members. For the record, my name is Amanda Hilton, and I am the president of the Nevada Mining Association. I am very grateful for the invitation to come before all of you to update you on Nevada's modern mining industry. I assumed this position in January of 2024 after a 2-decade career in the mining industry. All of that career was at the Robinson Mine, located outside of Ely, Nevada. For the last 6.5 years of my career, I served as the site's general manager, where I led the team of over 600 employees to produce copper. At this time, I'd like to introduce the other people at the table.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikki Bailey Lundahl. I'm the Vice President of the Nevada Mining Association, and I know you have all seen my face for quite some time within these halls, but I am the person representing the industry during the legislative session. So if you have any questions, I might not be able to answer them, but I will get you those answers as soon as possible. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Kyle Davis. I'm with Pinkin Public Affairs. I also, in this role, serve as the environmental consultant for the Nevada mining industry. In doing that, manage our environmental committee, which is a group of environmental professionals from throughout the industry that gather and work on issues related to natural resource issues affecting the mining industry, and work with our regulators and the public to make sure that we are mining in the most responsible way.
Thank you. Amanda Hilton. I'd also like to introduce Alan Biaggi, who's in the audience. He has been a consultant for the Nevada Mining Association for the last 15 years, and along with Kyle, he's here to answer any land and water questions that may arise. I'd like to thank all of you who have invested the time to attend a mine tour on behalf or along with the Nevada Mining Association. As you traveled across the state to tour one or more mines, I'm sure you learned how important safety is to our industry. So I'd like to start this presentation with a safety share. With daylight savings approaching on Sunday, it's a good reminder for all of us to change the batteries in our smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. And while you're at it, I suggest testing that alarm. So if it does go off unexpectedly, you'll know where the alarm is from and you'll be better prepared to act. The Nevada Mining Association's mission is to unite, inform, advocate, and serve as the public voice of Nevada's modern mining industry. Our association is made up of more than 400 members, representing all elements of the mining value chain. We have exploration members who are all around Nevada looking for the next mineral discovery. We have developers who are building the mines of the future. We have operators who are operating one of the more than 100 active mines in our state, and we have professionals helping with the reclamation after operations are complete. We also have hundreds of vendors and suppliers who are members. There's a great diversity of these members, ranging from the multinational Komatsu, which produces heavy machinery for mines across the world, to Motor Mission Radiator Repair, a repair shop located a few blocks from Allegiant Stadium that travels to mine sites, picks up radiators, repairs and cleans them, and delivers them back to the mine sites. The vendors and suppliers are represented in all 17 counties of our state. The mining that we are doing in Nevada is very important. The Minerals Education Coalition estimates that a baby born today will need 3 million pounds of minerals, metals, and fuels in their lifetime. This is needed for modern technologies such as computers and cell phones, infrastructure such as pipes and wiring in buildings and houses, energy such as solar panels and wind turbines, healthcare such as MRI machines, national security, and minerals needed in everyday life. I already mentioned that we have more than 100 operating mines in Nevada, and these are producing more than 20 different minerals. There is the potential for more minerals to be produced in our state. In a recently released report from the USGS, it stated that Nevada leads the nation for non-fuel domestic mineral production. 9.44% of mineral production in 2024 came from our state. There's a lot of talk nationally and worldwide about critical minerals, and I just want to clarify what classifies a mineral as critical. The Energy Act of 2020 provides this definition. It's essential to economic or national security of the U.S., it has a vulnerable supply chain, and it serves as an essential function in manufacturing of a product. In Nevada, we get to be proud that we're currently producing 4 critical minerals: copper, lithium, magnesium, and barite. There are many other minerals which are very important in production as well, including gold, silver, gypsum, and silica. I'd like to walk through a little bit more information about the critical minerals. The first one is copper, which is produced at the Robinson Mine in White Pine County. It's also produced at the Phoenix Mine in Lander County. Copper is required for the clean energy transition. It's needed for solar panels, it's needed for wind turbines, and it's needed for electric vehicles. It's also required for digital infrastructure, such as data centers. A fun fact about copper is that there are 176 pounds of copper in each electric car. Moving along to lithium, Nevada is home to the only operating lithium mine in the United States, and that is Silver Peak in Esmeralda County. There are 2 others that are in the stages to get to production. One is Thacker Pass in Humboldt Humboldt County, which is under construction. It is owned by Lithium Americas, and they have a partnership with General Motors. I believe it was last year they received a $2.26 billion loan from the Department of Energy for construction of this project. Thacker Pass has the world's largest known measured lithium resource and reserve. The third project for lithium in Nevada will be Rhyolite Ridge, which is owned by a company called Ioneer. It is in Esmeralda County, and when it is in production, it will have a boron co-product. It will be the second mine in the United States to produce boron. They received their record of decision in October of 2024, and in January of 2025 signed a loan agreement with the Department of Energy for nearly $1 billion. Magnesium is a lightweight metal additive that's needed for construction and for things such as cell phones. Premier Magnesia, located just outside Gabbs in Nye County, produces magnesium. The next time you drop your cell phone and it doesn't break, you can thank magnesium. The fourth critical mineral in Nevada is barite, which is mined at the Maggie Creek Mine in Eureka County and Mountain Springs in Lander County. This mineral is critical for medical work such as x-rays and CAT scans. This next slide provides some production statistics from 2023. The state of Nevada produced over 4 million ounces of gold in 2023, led by production at Nevada Gold Mines. This represents 73% of the gold produced in the United States. You can also see the production statistics for a few other minerals, but what I want to highlight here is the diversity of the minerals that are produced in our state. Some are measured in ounces, some are measured in pounds, some in tons, and some in megawatt hours. Not only is there diversity in the quantity of materials being produced, each mineral has a different mining process, processing process, and economics. And I am really proud that the Nevada Mining Association gets to be the collective voice for all of these different minerals. The mining industry has significant economic contributions to our state. As I mentioned earlier, it benefits Nevadans in all 17 counties. In 2023, more than 37,000 jobs were attributable to the mining industry. We've identified more than 2,700 vendors and suppliers who support this industry. In 2023, we paid more than $3 billion in wages and an estimated $12.7 billion in total economic activity. The mining industry pays its miners well. The average salary is $113,000, and that is coupled with a strong benefits package, including health insurance and retirement plans. Workforce development is one of the most critical issues our industry is facing, as we are ready to see a giant wave of retirements. Our member companies have partnered with colleges and universities across the state to help develop the workforce of the future. Our operators also provide internships, scholarships for future miners, and many career transition programs. Mining is available to people with a high school education all the way through to a PhD. It doesn't matter what the education level is, there is a job in the mining industry. The Nevada Mining Association and Nevada Division of Minerals are partnering for the 40th year on the Earth Science and Education workshops. The first workshop of 2025 will be in Las Vegas in 2 weeks, and we have 175 educators registered for that workshop. The first day of the workshop, the educators are presented different curriculum or different ideas that they could bring to their classroom, and the second day of the workshop, they get to go visit a mine site in that geographic region. Teachers who complete the 2-day course do receive continuing education credit. Assembly Member Brittany Miller has attended this in the past. It's important to recognize the significant taxes that the mining industry pays. For the last 2 years, the operators alone, not including the thousands of suppliers, paid more than $779 million in taxes. This industry pays every single business tax for the state of Nevada, with the addition of 2 other taxes. The first is net proceeds on minerals, and the second is the gold and silver excise tax. That tax was put in place in the 2021 session, and the funds from that tax go directly to the education fund and impact every single student in the state of Nevada. We are asking for your support for AB 277, which is being heard in revenue, and it is the Net Proceeds of Minerals Transparency Bill. And this is important to us because we want to make sure that we continue to have transparency in disclosing to the public what the tax impacts are and the tax contributions are for our industry. The mining industry is regulated by MSHA, not by OSHA. MSHA stands for the Mine Safety and Health Administration. This industry reported 23.4 million hours worked in 2023, and it is one of Nevada's safest industries. The workplace injury rate is 68.5% lower than the state average, and those rates are comparable to working in finance or information technology. All of our mine sites have mine rescue teams that undergo significant training on an annual basis, and many of the members of those mine rescue teams are EMT certified. This slide shows a list of the state agencies with mining oversight. You can see that this list is expansive, and it's important to note that there are multiple agencies at the federal level also that provide oversight to the mining industry. While I've discussed the economic impact and the number of jobs, I think it's also important to discuss mining's footprint in the state of Nevada. Of Nevada's 70.7 million acres, 200,000 are permitted for mining. That equates to 0.3% of Nevada's land mass. And finally, I want to close with a discussion about the environmental standards. Our mine operations are responsible for restoring land to a productive post-mining use. To ensure reclamation is completed, operations post financial bonds in the event of any default, and the state of Nevada currently holds over $4.5 billion in mine reclamation bonding. The picture you see on this slide is from the Nevada Mining Association's annual convention. And this is Bald Mountain Mine receiving a reclamation award. There were 2 reclamation awards given out last year. One was for Bald Mountain, and another was for Core Rochester's Duffy Pond restoration. I'd like to open it up to any questions.
Looking around, it looks like you went through. We've got some questions. Assemblymember Hanson.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for being here. I really enjoyed the presentation, and I'm proud to say that many of the activities are in a lot of my district, and grateful, and so are my constituents for the work, the great benefits that they receive in working in the mines. Just wanted to clarify on the mineral production for 2023, the lithium, the 7.12 million pounds. I'm assuming that's all from Silver Peak, since the other 2 mines aren't in production yet. I was quite surprised at how big that number is for those ponds, and out at Silver Peak that they can, right? Am I right? Is it the pond? Is it the brining? That's where that lithium's coming from. So, just wanted to clarify that was just the Silver Peak one.
Amanda Hilton, for the record. May I? Okay, thank you, Chair.
You can go direct.
Thank you. All of the lithium production in 2023 did come from the Silver Peak property.
Thank you. And one more question, Chair, I'm sorry. You might have said it. Did we say that Thacker Pass can start production this year? Not yet.
Amanda Hilton, Thacker Pass is in the production, or excuse me, the construction phase. So that will take some time and then they'll be in production.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Assemblymember Jackson.
Hey, thank you for the presentation. I was privileged to go on the tour, the mining tour. My nephew goes to a new trade school in Southern Nevada, and I'm just wondering, I know mining is more of a Northern Nevada thing, but are you guys making any connections with the new trade schools out in Southern Nevada?
Amanda Hilton for the record. I'm excited to say that I actually went on a mine site tour in Clark County just a week and a half ago. So there are mines in Clark County, but many of our large operators do have connections with trade schools in Southern Nevada and are working on continuing to build those relationships. So I'd love to get more information about which specific school he goes to, and I can check with our operators.
Would you?
I'm not sure of the name at the moment.
Maybe you guys will be able to talk a little bit offline. Any other questions? Please, Assemblymember Watts.
Thank you, Chair. Just more of a comment. I appreciate the presentation and appreciate the safety share. And I will say this building was already ahead of schedule in testing our fire alarms. So.
And thank you for that. One quick question, with some of the federal things that are happening, is the impact currently of the overproduction possibly of lithium in other nations impacting our ability to do that in our state?
Amanda Hilton for the record. The question is,
Basically, again, there's one, it appears that there's one area, one nation, that is flooding the market with lithium. So I was wondering if that is having any impact on how it is impacting our lithium mining.
thank you, Amanda Hilton for the record. We have strong support with the two lithium mines that are in the construction phase or very close to the construction phase. And so they are both optimistic about the future.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Thank you so much for all the information and also for always being accessible for those questions. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. All right, with that, we will open up our bill hearing for today on AB 136, which revises provisions relating to animals. Thank you, Assemblymember Considine, for presenting on this bill today, and whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Chair Anderson, Vice Chair LaRue Hatch, and members of the committee. I am Venetia Considine, and I have the honor of representing Assembly District 18. I am here today to present Assembly Bill 136. With me today is Gina Greisen. She is President, Nevada Voters for Animals. As a member of the Nevada Legislature, we are a voice for our constituents, and we endeavor to represent the interests of the people in this state. Sometimes, though, our efforts extend to those who do not have their own voice or the ability to advocate for themselves. In such circumstances, it is our responsibility to ensure that we prioritize the well-being and protection of those who can't speak for themselves, which is what we aim to do with Assembly Bill 136. This bill provides a critical step to increase the public's awareness and response when they encounter instances of animal mistreatment or cruelty within certain Nevada establishments. Recognizing that such inhumane and cruel tendencies continue to impact Nevada's animals, it is essential that we take steps to address and prevent appalling practices. Assembly Bill 136 offers a mechanism for doing so by increasing the ability for public oversight and reporting on animal establishments. With the chair's approval, I would like to invite my co-presenter to discuss the background and reasoning for this bill.
Please. I believe she's in Las Vegas, is that correct? Great. Whenever you are ready.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Anderson and members of the committee. Gina Greisen, Nevada Voters for Animals, for the record. I want to thank my wonderful Assemblywoman for agreeing to sponsor this bill. I've been so lucky in the past. I've been an advocate now. June will be 20 years in Nevada and have authored some of Nevada's greatest animal protection bills that we're grateful for because they bring justice. And for those who are in Northern Nevada, you might remember the Jason Brown story. Uh, the the gentleman who's just been denied parole for the second time, who mutilated 7 dogs in a Reno motel room and was sent to prison for up to 28 years. I actually worked with some of my former elected officials to author Cooney's Law back in 2011 so that he could be held accountable and folks like him that harm animals. So the reasoning behind this, I would like to just tell you 3 stories of why a bill like this is important. As an advocate, we get contacted all the time. And with technology and social media, a lot of times people who encounter a situation, they don't always know who to contact. So they'll call me or they'll call the news. They'll call Darcy Spears down here, who's an investigative reporter, and they will not contact the authorities. And that's an unfortunate situation because there's not always justice if there should be in a case. So I'd like to tell you the story about a rescue dog named Mora. She was being boarded at Pazaz, which was a boarding facility down here in Southern Nevada. And it was a few years back, sorry, I don't remember exactly what year. She spent 11 days there in July. And on the 11th day, we were contacted and were told that she was in need of emergency veterinary care. We ran over there, and when we got there, it was obvious that she had been deceased for quite some time. So this beautiful white husky with a pink nose, because it was a photograph taken of her when she was being dropped off, pure white coat, beautiful pink nose, beautiful pink tongue hanging out of the side of her mouth when she went in. That day, what we encountered was a dog who was covered in feces, whose beautiful white fur was now stained with urine. Her nose was black, her tongue was hanging out of her mouth black, and her eyes were sunken in that were a beautiful amber color. Now they were black. It was so shocking. But as an advocate, I knew to take this dog directly to the vet and request a necropsy. And there was an ensuing investigation, and the owner was eventually charged with multiple counts of felony animal cruelty, and he was arrested. And now I'm proud to say that that place is shut down. But the saddest part is, it wasn't just Mora and the other dog I was able to actually pull from being cremated and have a necropsy performed on. There were 4 other dogs that died in those 6 months, and those owners did not know who to contact. They cremated their pets, which is the evidence in a case, and there was no justice for their pets. But they did go on, they were on the news. There was a lot of news stories done on it. And that's the hard part, is that people go to the news and people go to social media, but they don't go to the authorities. And we learned a very hard lesson. I'll now tell you my other story about the pet store ordinance that was passed in 2016 in the city of Las Vegas. Um, at that time, there were only, I think, 2 or 3 pet stores there. They, we successfully passed it, but there was a year pause put on before it would go into effect. Well, in 2017, Mayor Carolyn Goodman put it on the agenda and had animal control come and do a presentation. And they asked them, how many stores do we have and how many complaints do you have? Well, Mayor, we only have, 2 or 3 stores and we've only had just a handful of complaints and they've all been resolved, despite the fact that numerous news stories had been done on these pet stores and specifically the Petland in Boca Park. Lots of social media stories, lots of news stories. And because no one ever reported it to the proper authorities, the mayor and then Councilwoman Fiore said, well, then why are we closing them down? Why are we doing this? And they repealed the pet store ordinance based on that presentation that day. They put it on the next agenda and they repealed it. Well, now they have like 15 stores because the county ended up stopping pet stores. So, but that was a hard lesson, for us to learn that it doesn't matter how many people know about it and if it's on social media or if it's in the news. It only counts when the authorities are made aware of these situations. Now I'll tell you about Sequest. I've been working since 2018 on Sequest, which is located in the Boulevard Mall in Las Vegas. Back in 2018, I was sent a very tragic video of a Asian small claw otter, and it was just a couple months old. It was still a baby that was locked in a kennel, and you could hear it screaming and crying in this kennel. Well, while Sequest was building their enclosure, they locked them in dog carriers, like dog kennels that you would transport your pet to the vet in. And they locked it in there for, weeks, if not months. Anyway, that otter in the video died. And the necropsy report showed that it was likely due to basically a heart attack from the stress of being locked in that kennel. There are so many situations. There have numerous deaths. Again, well documented, lots of news stories. ABC, about a year and a half ago, did a national news stories on all the locations, including Las Vegas. Darcy Spears, who's an investigative reporter, we've done numerous stories. They've had 2 sloths. They name them all the same name, so when they die, they just replace them. Octopuses, sloths have died. The otters have died. Another otter got sucked into one of the intake pumps and was basically either shredded or drowned. So there's just so much cruelty. Sharks have died. I forgot they swim with them. Just numerous animals. We can't even tell you because they won't do a death log and tell us. But again, well documented. But if you go on Google reviews, they have a 4.7 out of 5. Well, why is that? Because they sort of bribe them with tokens to feed the animals. They starve them so that people get the tokens to feed the animals. Again, well documented. We all know about it. But people don't report these things to the authorities. And just Saturday, we've posted on posted on the Shutdown Sequest Las Vegas Facebook page, a video of one of the animals there in the tiny enclosure going in circles, doing the same thing over and over, which means the animal is in distress. Well, we're thankful that someone took video, but they sent it to our page instead of calling animal control and having it investigated while it was happening. So that has been now sent, but it should have happened. And maybe if there had been posting where people knew who to call. And I know it seems maybe like common sense for maybe those of us in this room or, maybe people that are in the know. But I can't tell you how many hundreds, if not thousands over 20 years of people that contact me with horrific videos, dead animals, horrific pictures that say, what do I do and who do I report this to? So we would like to see, I don't think people understand, that grooming facilities, if something happens to your animal, if you don't have, if you don't report it and there's not a proper investigation done, there's not going to be any justice. And if you're an animal lover, you have animals, or you really want to make sure that we can just educate and inform the public on who they need to contact. And for those who might be opposed to this, I just want to say there was a case where there was a grooming shop and there was a lady and I was helping her. Um, she claimed that her dog's jaw was broken. Well, I kept telling her, you need to file with the city animal protection services. And as I was gathering the documents and getting them from her, I realized she was not telling the truth but she did get on the news and she was able to really slander the grooming facility. So it's not always in people's best interest to say, well, we don't want to post that and we don't want, because people will still find their way to the media and it'll go to the court of public opinion. And then the authorities, there won't be a thorough investigation that may, actually absolve you of whatever accusations are there. So it behooves everyone involved on either side of this issue to make sure that it is reported to the proper authorities. There could be a thorough investigation done, because when people don't know, that's when they turn to social media, that's when they turn to the news, and they turn to advocates like me. So I would ask you to please support AB 136. I know that there's an amendment. I would like to see it include pet stores, boarding facilities, um, board and trains, um, anywhere animals are displayed, where people can just conspicuously posted like the bad check law, right? At the entrance or the exit or something, saying, if you have concerns about animal welfare, these are the proper authorities to report it to. Thank you for the opportunity, and if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Greisen. What I would like to do now is to go through the bill. I do have a couple of amendments, and I will be going through the amendments as I go through the bill. This bill with the amendments is now much more narrow. So if we go to Section 3, where the heart of the bill is listed, and if I'm hoping that you have the amendments, they should have been uploaded. So we are changing that language to say the owner or operator of a commercial establishment engaged in the business of selling access to live animals to interact with the public shall conspicuously post on a sign at least an 8.5 by 11 in size within close proximity to the enclosure of the animal the following notice in bold type. If you know or have reason to believe this animal is in danger or has been subjected to an act of cruelty in violation of NRS 574.100, you may contact, and then that would be the local animal control authority that would be put in there. Because of the changes that we have made in Section 3, removing animal shelters, businesses that display, et cetera, we have removed Sections 4B, 4C, 4D, and 4F. The explanation of enclosure, we just added a couple of additional terms on that. So enclosure means a structure used to restrict the immediate movement of an animal to a limited amount of space, including without limitation, a room, a pen, a run, cage, compartment, hutch, or tank or fenced area. And on this amendment, the last piece is adding a section that any entities that are AZA accredited facilities are exempt from this requirement. The idea for this is in any situation where the public pays money to have access to animals, that there is a sign allowing people to know if they needed to contact animal control, they could contact animal control. So it is a lot more narrow than the original bill. That is because we've met with multiple stakeholders, and the idea is to protect where we can. And in some locations, you have small enclosures, but then in some locations, it could be a very large area, so we just wanted to add a fenced-in area on that. The other second conceptual amendment was a request, and that was to add a section for a penalty, and that is the second conceptual amendment. And that is failing to post the sign is a $100 penalty per day. So that does go over this sort of small and short bill along with the two conceptual amendments, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation, making it so quick, and then also thank you for I don't know if thank you is the right word, but for sharing the horrific stories about what brought this forward. Any questions from the committee? Vice Chair LaRue Hatch.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for presenting this and for answering our questions. My question was about where this sign would be displayed. Obviously, we're envisioning on the outside of an enclosure, but being up here in the north and near Tahoe, we have trail rides, right, where somebody hops on a horse and rides around. Will this sign need to be in one place in the facility on the trail ride? Would it need to be on the stables? Would it be tacked to the saddle? What is your vision for those kind of interactions?
Please go direct.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Assemblymember LaRue Hatch, Venetia Considine for the record. The idea would be wherever, since this is a situation where you're paying for entrance, that it would be where the entrance is or where you're paying for that there would be the sign in that location. And I know there's so many different variables as to where it would be. It's hard to say one size fits all. So that's why we wanted to leave it in that way. But that's the expectation, is it's right up front.
I appreciate that. And I think that kind of clarifies one of my questions, which was, will we have just 40 signs right next to each other, which is not the goal. My other question is just who prints the sign? Is it the business or is it some other entity?
The expectation is that the business prints it. That's why we have not required it on, larger papers or certain things. 8.5 by 11, that should be the standard size of paper. We're hoping that that is the minimal amount of resources that would be used to have it.
Any other questions? All right. See, I do have a small question about who would be making sure that these signs are up? Would that be a county decision? Is that a business owner's? That I'm still a little bit unsure of.
Thank you, Chair. Anderson, Venetia Considine for the record. The expectation would be that it would be animal control. It would be, county, when county is called out somewhere, that they would be looking for that sign.
Thank you so much. So I will look around again. Seeing nobody else that has questions, well, thank you very much for that. And we will start off with testimony. Testimony on AB 136. Those of you that are in support, please come to the table here in Carson City.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Anderson and members of the committee. My name is Rebecca Goff, and I'm the Nevada State Director for Humane World for Animals, formerly known as the Humane Society of the United States. On behalf of our members and supporters in Nevada, we support this bill as amended. From poorly regulated roadside zoos to photo opportunities with sloths and kangaroos, public interactions with wild animals are potentially dangerous and inherently cruel. These animals are often mistreated, kept in barren environments, and separated from their mothers at a young age. Such attractions pose serious health and safety risks as they put people in close contact with highly stressed and unpredictable wild animals. Tourists and residents alike may visit these facilities without knowing where to report concerns or animal welfare or conditions. This bill will help educate the public on how to properly report concerns, ensuring that the appropriate authorities can investigate and take action when necessary. We appreciate Assemblymember Considine for championing and bringing forward this bill and encourage the committee's support. Thank you.
Thank you. And I did not explain that if you would like to call in, our phone number is on the agenda. And also, if you'd like to just simply say ditto to somebody else, you're more than welcome to do so. So seeing nobody else coming forward in Carson City, is there anybody in Las Vegas that would like to speak? So I don't see anybody else coming to the table. Elko, would you like to testify in support of this bill? Not seeing any movement.
That was a no.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody on AVH that would like to testify in support of AB 136?
To testify in support of Assembly Bill 136, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Again, if you wish to testify in support, please press star 9. Chair, we have no callers choosing to testify in support at this time.
Thank you. We'll now move into opposition. If you would like to testify in opposition of AB 136 here in Carson City, you may come to the table. Seeing nobody. Anybody in Las Vegas? Seeing none. Elko? I believe that's a no. And how about on AVH?
To testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 136, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. You may begin when you'd like.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Anderson and committee members. My name is John Potash of Sparks, Nevada, and I'm speaking today in opposition of AB 136. As someone who has been heavily involved in the animal industry for well over 3 decades, I have had and am well aware of many attacks on the animal industry by special interest groups, and this bill appears to be more of the same. While on the surface, the bill does seem to make sense because nobody wants to see any animal mistreated, this mandate, I'm afraid, is ripe for abuse. There are many issues to consider here. For example, the general public doesn't always know what is appropriate for all animals. A couple examples might be a husky being left outside while it's snowing, or a snake in a display cage without water. Well, anyone who knows huskies knows that snow is their preferred environment, and it's not cruel. In fact, it's enrichment. As for snakes, many desert species are adapted to go weeks or even months without water, while some species are actually having a constant water supply is detrimental to their health. I bet you didn't know that. Now, you're probably thinking that's why people can call Animal Control Authority to make those determinations. Well, after working with countless animal control agencies over decades, I can say that they aren't always well versed in all animals and the nuances with keeping those animals, especially when it comes to exotic species. And unfortunately, I have encountered a number of officers who let their own personal feelings and ideologies take precedence over accepted industry standards and science-based care. As it stands right now, if a person sees something of concern involving animals, they have every right to make a complaint to the animal authorities.
Sir, can you start to wrap it up?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, wrapping it up. Thank you. If they're upset enough, they can call, look up a phone number and make a call. Somebody contacts one of the rescue groups instead of the authorities, they can also give them that contact information. By putting up signs like this, I'm afraid that will encourage people to make frivolous calls for reasons they don't understand, which will put extra
Thank you, sir.
strain on
If you
animal
would
control
please also
officers.
spell your name, and then we'll have to move on. But if you could please spell your last name for us.
Yes, Potash.
Thank you so much. Next caller, please.
Chair, we have no more callers choosing to testify in opposition at this time.
Come on. Thank you. We'll now move into neutral. Is there anybody that's in neutral here in Carson City? Seeing nobody coming to the table. In Las Vegas? Elko?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir. And finally, is there anybody that would like to testify in neutral on AVH?
To testify in neutral to Assembly Bill 136, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers choosing to testify in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Would you like to make any closing remarks?
Venetia Considine for the record. Thank you to the committee for hearing this bill. Just want to add that requiring establishments to post this notice will help empower the public to take action when they see possible mistreatment or abuse of animals. It provides the immediate information to contact the appropriate reporting authority, who can then take action to ensure that animals within our state are being safely and humanely treated. Thank you again, and thank you for considering this measure.
Thank you so much, and we will now close the hearing on Assembly Bill 136. We'll now start with public comment. As a reminder, members of the public can provide public comment in person, by phone, or submit written public comment to the committee's email up to 24 hours after this meeting. Instructions for providing public comment can be found on the agenda, including the call-in information. Public comment will be limited to 2 minutes per speaker, and staff will time each speaker during public comment to ensure everyone has a fair opportunity to speak. We also ask that you do not repeat previous comments. Please remember to clearly state and spell your name, and we'll begin with public comment from those in the physical locations first, and then move on to anyone who has called in. Carson City? Nope. Las Vegas? Elko?
Yes, thank you, Chair Anderson. This is Ralph Sacrison from Elko. Sacrison spelled Sacrison. I am speaking to the Nevada Mining Association presentation earlier in the meeting. I am a Nevada native, Ely, in 1954. We left when I was 3, and with Dad's work in mining, our family proceeded to live in multiple states and countries. I returned permanently to Nevada at the age of 40 as a single parent with 2 toddlers. Mining has allowed me to raise my children from infancy to adulthood, and this has been across employee and consultant phases of my career. My first 28 years in the industry were as an employee across 4 Western states, including time in Hawthorne and here in Elko. The recent 21 years have been as the sole proprietor of an independent mining consultancy, again here in Elko. My range of experience and appreciation of mining's place in local and larger communities and economies runs from blue chip multinationals to my own micro business. The mines I have worked for typically have been the largest employer in their counties, with among the highest average per employee wages in their states. Mining is a base or primary industry with an economic multiplier of 4 to 5 for each dollar of created wealth. That shows through local communities providing the necessary commercial support of the mines, and further through the schools and spectra of municipal and other services, all of which draw on the participation and contribution of the mining employees and their companies. Again, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sacrison, for waiting through our meeting and also for providing that public comment. Is there anybody else in Elko? I don't think there is. But how about on AVH? Is there anybody that would like to offer public comment?
If you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits, 882, you are unmuted on our end. Please check to make sure you are unmuted on your end, and you may begin. Chair, the caller is not speaking. Would you like to move on to the next one?
Yes, please, if we could.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Okay, this is David Spicer, D-A-B-A-D, S-P-I-C-E-R from Beatty, Nevada. I'm calling in regards to the Nevada Mining Association presentation. I formed my mining company in 1986 and have been continuously in business for 38 years here. My company's experience include contract, custom drilling and blasting, shaft innovations, quarry, quality mine reclamation projects, dimensional stone and custom diamond sawing, as well as quarrying and producing landscape rock. We do contract for the local mines in the area here. Mining is and has been my lifeblood, that of my employees, and is paving the way for my community's future beyond that of mining. Because when the mine plays out, what's next? I've invested heavily into a recreational trails plan here at my ranch and the BLM land around. Looking at other states in the West, seeing how successful they are with the income and benefits that great recreational trail system can bring, I realized that I could bring these successes here. Mining is how all this started and is able to fund the journey. There's no reason that we cannot succeed if we work together, stay together, and play together. UNH Mining, with its profits made off of public land, has and is making a model, one that can help all the underserved communities in our state. The mining industry needs to promote itself and demonstrate its prowess on a national level. We know that the communities we operate in prosper because of us. Most of them love us. There are those out there that don't know us and aren't sure about us. We were labeled as the extraction industry, not a very attractive title. This needs to and can be changed. We are such a needed industry, one that society itself cannot survive without. We need to be talking more with the folks that don't like us than the ones that do. The biggest natural resource that we have are the youngest generations being born today. They will inherit the future that we are making today. Mining can be a leader in this if we invest in it. We can change the public's perception of us, educate and participate in the youth that are not in our community. Our futures in mining, permitting, and operating can only get better if we can get the next generations believing in us. What better way to do that than building great biking trails all over the state and being the one that puts fun back into our name? Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other callers?
Hi, this is Allison Anderson, Anderson. I'm the Community Relations Manager at Anglo Gold Ashanti, the Nevada project. I'm also a proud graduate of the University of Nevada, Reno, and a mother to 3 living in Sparks. First, I wanted to say thank you to your willingness to learn about the industry and especially for your willingness to go on mine tours and meet our people. Mining has long been a cornerstone of Nevada's economy, providing thousands of high-paying jobs, generating significant tax revenue, and supporting local businesses. But beyond its economic impact, responsible mining is about building strong, lasting relationships with the communities where we operate. In my role, I've had the privilege of working directly with local stakeholders, residents, schools, businesses, and tribal communities to ensure that our projects in the Beatty District contribute positively to the region. While we are still in the early stages of exploring solutions to important challenges such as infrastructure, education, housing, and emergency and health services, these projects create opportunities for broader collaboration. By bringing together community partners, local organizations, and industry stakeholders, we can work towards meaningful long-term solutions that benefit the entire region. Mining today isn't just about extracting minerals. It's about being a responsible community partner and creating long-term value for Nevada's people, environment, and economy. I encourage you to continue supporting responsible mining policies that foster collaboration and sustainable development. As a proud miner working in Nevada, I'm committed to ensuring that our industry continues to positively impact the communities we call home. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else on AVH?
Chair, the public line is open and working, but there are no more callers at this time.
Thank you, everyone, for your comments, and this concludes our meeting for today. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, March 12th at 4 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.